Hello guys, welcome back to UK Nationals 2019. I am here with the legendary Ping Xiao.
Hello everyone.
So, Ping, what did you do this weekend?
This weekend I come and play the National, and I got my fourth consecutive top nuts, and this year I broke the curse and I came top 16. Which is good. I enjoyed myself. Fun weekend.
Previously you had finished top 32 at Nationals?
Previously I will finish a top cut and then immediately for various different color reasons get knocked out of top 32, 64. Half the time it's not my fault, half the time it is.
Well, regardless, what deck were you playing for this event?
So for this event, I played Orcust. And quick disclaimer, I've not touched Orcust deck since Cologne in end of March. So I've actually not played this deck for several months. This is my first event and I'm playing Orcust with any of the new cards like Dingrisu for a start. And I was only able to play this because of my team who led me to Dingrisus. Otherwise, I would have played some deck that probably would have involved pendulums. Like that guy behind me.
Alex!
Who also managed it pretty well.
Yeah.
We'll get to him later. We'll get to him later, yeah. But yeah. So disclaimer, this deck was drafted on the Friday night. Took a lot of effort theorizing. There was not as much practice. It's a very strict 40 card deck at the Friday night.
43 on the day.
And then 43 cards when I registered because I decided to add 3 more cards that'll get right to the end. They helped. So you know what? Without further ado, let me share the deck list. And the disclaimer is definitely that this list may not be the strongest list possible, and I think there's still there's a lot to be improved. So starting with the heart of the engine. 2/2, 2/2, 1/1, and 1 of each.
Okay.
An argument can be made for 3 of these, but because I'm playing a 40 card version, I felt like the 2 is sufficient, where I can see it sufficiently and I can use it sufficiently.
Yeah.
And it was right. 3 was not necessary. So that is the Orcust part. Absolutely fantastic. Only loses to Dweller and only loses to Lancia and sometimes Ash. Ironically, how I lost all my matches today.
Except for double fog blade.
It cannot be helped. Now, for the starters, I again went for the Hornet Drone package. This is just the best starter.
And is there a reason that you chose not to play a Eagle Booster?
There's 2 reasons. One, deck space, but more importantly, if you are going to play Eagle Booster, it's either 3 or 0. You cannot play 1. So if you search the Eagle Booster of this, once your opponent sees the Eagle Booster, they are not going to interact with your Mermaid. They are going to wait for the interaction on either the Harp or the Bardiche. So as a surprise factor, Eagle Booster is fantastic. But without that surprise factor, this is all the package you need.
Yeah.
I've drawn a lot of double engage. This just became a discard folder. And going forward, this may not be the strongest package, but it's definitely the strongest package that does not use your normal summon.
Right, yeah. And we saw that in the game on stream, I believe. You had hands where you used the engage and then you went Candida.
Indeed. Yeah. That allowed me to get the extra level 4 on the board, allowed me to make the Redoer, which controlled the match.
Yeah.
For the other starters, trial, tested, package of Trickstars. Locking down the back row was very important all day long.
Yeah, coming into this weekend, I remember Light Stage was one of the cards where you were like, I want to play this in a deck.
There was only 6 cards I know for certain. 3 Call by the Grave and 3 Light Stage. That's for a fact I want to play these 6 cards. And they come in handy. But obviously, and some of the new development is the 3 Instant Fusion. Starter.
How did these perform?
These 3 have overperformed all weekend. It's a starter. It's a South Night Restrict. It's a problem solver, and I only managed to do it once. But I have a floodgate monster. In window. I resolved that floodgate out twice, and I just won because of that floodgate. South Night Restrict forced out a lot of negates because it's South Night Restrict. And the other time, it's just a nice starter that goes the rest of my hand.
Yeah.
And then here's even more starters / extenders. It's a bit smaller than normal. Normally I will play the 9, 10 danger with three some snakes and one of these.
Yeah.
For this event, because of deck side choice, I made a conscious choice of making 40 cards as small as possible. So I scaled down the ratio. I mean, you probably noticed I scaled down all the ratios, where I have just 2 of these to search 2 of these in order to special summon this for the redoer.
Right. Because you don't have summon sorceress, so the darks are less valuable, right?
The darks are less valuable, but the redoer is just as important as ever. And the redoer has been a fantastic card all weekend.
Okay, at least you got a Franken.
Now, for the other core, this is the rusty core of the deck. Notice again, for deck reasons, I've chosen to just play the minimum possible. And it's worked out quite well. I have not had a situation where I need to resolve a Bardiche twice. An argument can be made for just these, but sometimes you do want hard draw 1 Fog Blade in case of interruption.
Yeah.
Not 2. I can promise you, you don't want to draw both of them in the same game.
It does not end well.
And now from now on, where are the utility cards?
Yep.
Mandatory utility card and mandatory utility cards.
I mean, Juliana would never allow that.
2 more life stage, and as a result of 2 more life stage, playing the set rotation for the 3rd life stage and 1 mine. My top 64 match in the cutoff, I got paired against Subterra. He controlled the field really well. He got through some searches, and once I paid out the last negation, my last card in my hand was Mr. Mine, so I just played out Mr. Mine, and he scooped it up.
Yep.
He had 33 cards versus my 4 cards. And so that's 40 cards so far, and the last 3 cards I added to my deck list on on a Saturday morning was the 3 Ash.
What is the logic here?
I did not feel safe going to an event where combo deck exists and I don't have any way of interrupting them turn 1.
Yeah. And was this Pendulum combo or Orcust combo?
Orcust, Pendulum, Thunder, or the generic draws cards.
Yeah.
Ash has just been so versatile. If I had more time, I will probably have looked through my deck list and see what cards I can cut to add these 3. But it's a last minute decision. I do have no regrets with these 3 cards whatsoever.
Cool.
This has been fantastic, versatile, and strong all weekend.
So you don't have the Neospace connector package here. Do you miss it at all, or why are the other 2 card combos better than it?
Okay, sure. Like,
To be honest, I've missed Neospace connector. I missed the connector package in Game 2 a lot. And essentially, the connector package was replaced effectively by the 3 instant fusions.
Right.
The logic behind that is that connector is great, but the connector has a card conflict with Candina. I can only summon 1 or the 2.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'm forced to summon one of the Orcust monsters to carry out the combo.
But it gets really weird because you drop.
So as a result, I decided in order to minimize the number of my normal summons, I either go for the full warrior package or I go for the instant fusion. And after debating for a very long time, it seems that the instant fusion has more utility.
Difficult for anyone that hasn't played.
And the instant fusion has worked out. And there was a lot of time where South Line Restrict was just strictly better than a connector.
Sure.
If I was playing a much bigger deck, then all the ratio gets scaled up, a number of star cards had to be scaled up. At that stage, connector will make the cut.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do admit, there was a lot of game 2s where I missed having connector to see my opponent's hand to rip out the Ash before going forward. On the downside, unfortunately connector cannot rip out Lancia, which is the biggest shame.
Can't hit Lancia, can't hit Impermanence.
So, like a Gary token?
Nice. Just gonna show this to the camera.
like that one's not even quite finished yet.
This is Euros 2018?
2018, there will be a new version this year.
Hey.
I've got a curry coming.
So the extra deck is fairly standard. Going second win button,
Yeah. Do you want?
the 3s,
Okay. Well,
the 2s,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
the 1s,
Well, Ping can have some of the next batch that come out.
The Xyz and the 2 instant fusion targets. This card has performed really well all weekend. This card acted as both a starter and a floodgate monster for me at least 2 matches. It was just 3 wins. My opponent had everything, but they needed more than 1 summon. That can get you 3 wins when you should not win. This can get you wins when you should not win either. Yeah.
Yep. The rest of it is all pretty standard.
The only card I will probably add in here, the only card that I was thinking was was a level 2, was a link 2. Oh, what's it called? Space Insulator.
Right.
There was several times in the tournament where the only way to make Bard Each was a Space Insulator, and because I didn't have it, I couldn't transition into it, and I was kind of stuck in an awkward field where I had to force go into the Orcust combo, knowing full well my opponent had hand traps and lose. So there was a couple of times where I missed it, but unfortunately the extra deck space is really tight because of instant fusion. The only card that can be cut is the Unicorn.
Yeah.
But if you cut the Unicorn and then you start staring down a Colossus, then let's leave it like that. You can see what happens.
It's very tough when you are like so reliant on the extra deck.
Indeed. So for the side deck, now the side deck needs a lot of work, and I think I've not been using my side deck for the full potential. So for the utility card, for just one of the best cards in the format, and one of the reasons why I lost.
Not because of your own Lancias, but spoilers.
I was really afraid of Dweller, and I was really afraid of Dweller. So I decided that sometimes Gamma is just the best hand trap. It's stronger than Vader because it takes out a monster.
How did this perform for you?
Honestly, I don't know. In the one matchup it comes up, in my round 10 matchup, where I went second against the Nerd match, I opened Gamma the Mermaid, and then dropped the Lancia to prevent any backup, which was just it.
Yeah.
The Gamma in theory is the strongest package, and it's just better than every other hand trap. But unfortunately it comes with this downside, which
It's a pretty big downside.
It's a pretty big downside, but I definitely believe that Gamma is a very strong side deck card.
Cool. The good old mind controls.
Salad, Mirror will both lose pretty hard to this card.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't put it off all day. The only card that I mind control was the Tsuchinoko. So
Powerful.
it was very powerful.
It's frustrating when half of it ends up upside down.
This card won me more games than it should have. I played quite a few trap-based decks, and Red Reboot just shut them down, including two true Draco decks where I just went Red Reboot, and then even though he has all 3 true Draco monsters, I still just killed him that turn.
Wow.
Purely because this card existed.
Yep.
It locked down all his floodgates. Finally, didn't get to use it, but I didn't get to play any strikers, unfortunately. But 2 good enough to have going first.
I told him about this.
And 2 more utility field spells. Striker matchup, my matchup, and you will need this against some of the bigger decks in the format when you're going second.
I appreciate that you might be
So yeah,
saying it. Although
that's my list. It could do with a bit more work, and I definitely think that there's a couple of cards in the main deck that we can cut to get the card down to 40. Because even at 43, there's enough people who just count my deck at 43 and make Blind Dweller straight away, which is how I lost some game ones.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing that. Jason.
But yeah, that's my deck. I hope you guys like it.
Any final thoughts or shoutouts?
So, as you can see here, there's one shout out number 1. There's a big shout out to this one, to one of our sponsors. Yeah. And shout out to these guys behind us, who are eating my nachos right now. So
We should probably get back to that. Thank you very much. Congratulations on your top.
Thank you, everyone.
We will see you in 2 weeks and a bit for Utrecht.
if I do well, you will see me at Utrecht. If I don't do well, you'll never hear from me again.
This is Team Kuribrohs signing out.
Bye, guys.